Hello, Darkness, my old friend. Welcome back to Game Over Ottawa. Maud and Charlie back once again for a dual stream, and we are both probably thinking that we wish it wasn't a dual stream and the other person was just handling it themselves, don't we?
What an awful way for us both to end the weekend.
Yep, we waited all weekend for that. Not that I had much better expectations, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was definitely a low expectations game, but like it honestly worse than I expected somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting a pretty bad outcome.
Yeah, so Vegas Golden Knights with a 6-3 victory. Doesn't seem to matter which goalie is in net for the Sens. Doesn't seem to matter what the forward lines are, what the D pairings are. At this point, we're just totally cooked.
No, this team sucks. Like just flat out the team sucks. I don't know. I genuinely don't know how else to put it. This team sucks so bad.
I'm
I've
fully expecting a lottery pick at this point. Like the
yeah.
Dallas game I think was my breaking point, and then this game I'm just kind of numb to it.
This okay. So this game this was my breaking point.
Yeah.
Like this is the night that killed me.
uh,
Now I'm past the point of being mad. Like I'm past the point of being mad or upset by the result of a game. Um I don't care. Like I'm exhausted from putting so much thought and like energy into this dog shit hockey team.
yeah.
So at this point, like unless it's while I'm watching the game or doing game over, I'm putting zero thought into this team for a while. Like I can't deal
Mhm.
with it. Like the whole point up to this season, I've been stressing out over, and I don't know, stressing out is maybe like a generous way of putting it, but caring about line combinations and quotes after a game. Fuck it.
Yeah, none of that feels
If
like it matters.
No, unless they're playing or like we're doing the show, I
Mhm.
don't care. I don't care.
It's
Ugh.
it's totally the point of the season where if I wasn't being paid to cover this team, it's like you turn that game off once it becomes 4-2 or 5-2 and you just go to bed, right?
Oh yeah, halfway through that second period, I'm asleep. Like on a normal on a like, and I feel bad because I've said exactly that multiple times already this season, and it makes me feel kind of bad because I'm like, if I didn't have this like dream part-time job, then
Mhm.
like I wouldn't be watching. And like it feels like every time I bring like with how often I've brought it up, it feels like I'm not like thankful enough because I'm kind of honestly I'm complaining about this job more than I'm like enjoying it publicly anyway on stream. And I feel bad about that. But like fuck this team basically
Yeah.
is like
You wish you could cover another team right now.
oh yeah,
Any team that
100%.
can any team that can at least be average. We can't even do that. Can't even be average.
Yeah, like I'd be thrilled with Game Over Wild, like Game Over Minnesota. Give me like another disappointing team, but not as disappointing,
Mhm.
like a team that can make a coaching change.
Yep, I was gonna say at least the Wild could make a coaching change. They actually had the guts to do it, and fired a coach that the fan base liked, and I'm sure the players still
Yeah,
liked.
yeah,
But over
how,
here we
like
can't do that.
of the three coaches who are fired, were any of them truly hated by the fan base?
Don't think
None of
so.
them. None
Nope.
of them.
Uh, what's his name? Berube in St. Louis seemed to be still universally loved even after being fired.
Yeah. And like you said, Minnesota, not like disliked at all. Edmonton, what didn't Woodcroft end up with like the highest point percentage of any Oilers goalie or a goalie coach? I can't,
I think so. Yeah,
why did I
his
say goalie?
record was still really good. It was just a
He
bad
was he
month or
stopped
so.
so many shots from behind the bench. He was amazing. Um, Actually, you know what? Maybe they should have put him in net to the start of the season. That might have helped.
It might have,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, no, that's one of the weirdest slips I've ever had on an episode. Yeah, like you have an entire fan base begging for a coaching change, and I've just accepted the fact that like I mean, well, granted, I've accepted this a while back. I said on an episode that thank God I did that Florida game as a solo show,
Oh
because
yeah.
if I had a guest on for that episode, and I did have a guest, luckily he was busy. Um, After that 5-0 Florida game, and I said if DJ Smith and the whole coaching staff still has a job after this game, then Andlauer and Staios like aren't serious.
Here
That
we are 3
was
weeks later.
yes, exactly. Weeks later. So if the players have any fucking thing to say about the crowd booing and chanting fire DJ when they're back home from this
Oh
road
God.
trip, like no, there's nothing they can say. It was silly when they said it like a month ago. It would be unbelievable if they have anything to say after this road trip. And like what's the first home game? The Pittsburgh game? Is
Yeah,
that the first
Pittsburgh.
game back?
Yep.
Yeah. So the crowd is going to be because like listen, DJ's keeping his job, right? Like he's going to have this job through Christmas. So the crowd is going to lay into him like crazy at that game if anyone shows up. Um
Yeah, what I was just thinking was they better the team themselves better hope that everyone already bought tickets to that game before Christmas, you know, and that they don't still have a bunch of tickets to sell before this road trip ends because oh boy. For a little bit of insider information here behind the scenes, I was supposed to go to that game, but Charlie was unable to do the show that night, and now I'm glad that I don't have to go to that game because as much as it sucks to come on here and have to rant all the time, I would rather sit at home and not have to actually physically go to the game at this point. We're not even through December yet, and I don't even want to go to the games anymore. I've been to 3 games and they won all of them, but what the hell? Like it's just a garbage team at this point. I've been lucky that I've been able to see wins.
I'm jealous. The only game I've been to so far was the Sabres game. And my brother and I were given 2 tickets for the Devils game on the 29th, which like I'm gonna go because it's free. I'm still gonna pay $20 for parking and buy a $15 beer or whatever and be mad about it at the end of the day. But like,
You'll need that beer to get through the game, so it'll be worth it.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go to that game, obviously. Like it was free, so I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna be dreading it all day leading up to that.
Yeah. Even like doing the show at this point, especially if it's a solo show, we're already at the point where it's like, okay, what the hell are we gonna talk about when this team inevitably lays another egg, right? And we have a little bit of that tonight too. Like I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about the actual game here in a bit, although there's not much to say. But we do have a little extra segment planned for later in today's show that is just a little fun side thing since once again, not much to talk about from this game.
Yeah. I don't know about you. I feel like I repeat myself every episode.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like just it's the same thing over and over and over again. Like the last episode I did was on Friday for the Dallas game. And I had my buddy Sam on and for the now, this is the first episode in like God, I don't even know how many I actually went through the game like point by point just kind of going over a bunch of stuff because it was a high event game. It was a high event game and I was like we need to go through this game because I've like cheated that and just complained about the team in general for the last 3, 4 episodes in a row. And like I've just kind of skipped over like actually going through a game. And I was like, I can't do it again because I'm just saying the exact same thing for a fifth episode in a row. And like anyone who's tuning in still, like, thank you.
Yeah,
I don't
for
want to
sure.
be saying the same thing. Like, you don't want to be listening to me going like the team's defense sucks and the goalies can't make the big save and DJ, dump and chase. I think I've said dump and chase more in the last 3 months than the previous 27 years of my life combined.
I bet you have. Oh God. I
Yeah.
get what you mean because I had one game, it was the Islanders game where they allowed 3 goals, I think, in the second period, and it was like 2 goals in
Yeah.
6 seconds, where I took notes for that whole game. Then I came on and I didn't even fucking read any of my notes because it was like, I was just so pissed, I was ready to rant.
She went
Although,
off script, off script.
yeah, now, though, at this point, it's like, I I'm gonna have to be taking notes because what the hell else am I gonna talk about with some of these games? It's like I don't have the energy to be super angry anymore. Like we're not coming on here yelling and screaming. It's just kind of dejected, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what the stages of whatever the 5 stages of hockey fan
Yeah,
is
I'm in
with this team,
the
but it's gone, yeah,
acceptance stage, I
anger.
guess.
Yeah, exactly. Anger to being upset to acceptance. I don't know what the next two are, but
Yeah, whatever they are.
we'll find out, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Um, any thoughts about this actual game? Anything that stuck out to you? Because I'm like, fuck, where do we even like begin at trying to break down that mess?
At least I never had hope, unlike the Dallas game.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, they gave us a little bit of hope with a decent first period, but just the fact that we saw that Dallas game right before, you knew what was going to happen, right? You knew that they weren't going to be able to actually hold on to not even hold on to the lead, just stay in the game and have it not be a blowout. Like no one's buying it at this point.
yeah, if the Sens can't win a game where they're up to nothing after two shots, I was like, I'm not going to believe they can win until they have a 3 goal lead or more.
Mhm.
Um, and obviously that never happened tonight. Um,
Not going to happen
just
very often anymore, I don't think.
no, it was 2-1. I was like, all right, well, we'll see how this completely
When
turns
it was
around.
2-1, all the only thought that I had in terms of positivity was, okay, we're gonna need Corpusalo to steal this game if we want to have a chance. And then he
Yeah.
let in the biggest softie ever before the first period was even done. So we couldn't even have that. We can't even have a hot goalie win us a game.
And it sucks because like he cooled off after the first, but the first period for Josh Norris, that like I wrote that down as like my biggest positive takeaway was how amazing Norris looked early on in this game. Like
Yeah.
scores, but then also like he's flying, like he drove the net so hard. And I think part of it that what I loved is because like this team just doesn't do that very often. So seeing one guy in particular just carry the puck through the zone and like just try and do it all himself a couple times was so nice to watch.
Yeah,
And
he
then it
had he
just
had two
fell
drives to
apart.
the net like that in one shift.
Yeah, it was unreal.
hmm Thing is about Norris, like I would say he's probably my biggest positive today too, except the fifth goal, which was one of the most embarrassing and pathetic goals I've ever seen an NHL team allow, especially with the whole shift leading up to that. Um I'm glad someone posted the screenshot of this on Twitter because I wanted to know who the players were going to the bench who just fucking left.
Oh my
They just
God.
said fuck it and left. And Kubalik, whose stick was broken, okay, fair enough. You try to go get a stick from the bench, although it's still not the best idea. The other player was Norris. He just left. So he had a great game and then like totally blows it there. So even the most positive, the biggest positive from this game, it's like he still had a horrible moment.
Yeah, I'm watching the replay on that and
I don't
like
know why they
listen,
left.
I rag on Hamnick a lot, and I don't doubt that he was in legitimate pain. If Hamnick, like one thing I cannot fault Hamnick for is like he's tough as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like dude could have his head cut off in a game. Like he could
He'll
lose a
put it back
limb.
on.
He could lose a limb. He could lose a leg, and I'd be like, he'll be back in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's unbelievably tough. So if he's down on the ice, like I don't wanna give him too much shit. He did get up and he was fine. so I don't want to give him too much shit. He was down there for a while, but Chikrin just he didn't move. He stood there and just kind of
Mm,
spun. You know, like
floating
he
around.
just and I remember I think it was the last episode we were on together, and I had mentioned how like Chikrin's defensive play was like starting to concern me. As of about a week ago, like 4 or 5 games ago, maybe, I officially hit the point of like I'm concerned with his defensive play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I mean at that point, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that you should be like it's 4-2, let's give up. But like I mean the whole everyone on the ice on that play looked super dejected and just out of it.
Yeah, you
But
could tell they
like
had quit, other than Hammock.
yeah, like Chikrin, dude, skate, man. Like he's looked
Mm-hmm.
so good offensively. And he's on such a hot stretch now scoring. But like I don't know. I don't know. Like, and not to say that he looks awful and the rest of the team looks great in their own zone, but like, I don't know. If I'm trying to like zoom in on someone on that, and granted, like you said, everyone on that fifth Vegas goal was looked awful, but like he's not even moving.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I'm glad that he's at least been picking up points on this road trip because the defensive deficiencies are at least masked somewhat by offensive production. But
Right.
with the next game coming up against Arizona, I was basically thinking like, oh well, I'll do kind of a revisiting the trade and seeing what Arizona did with the draft picks, and like evaluating Chikrin so far on the Sens.
Mhm.
And I agree with you that it's been hit and miss. So I'm curious to look into like the advanced defensive metrics and see what his numbers are like for that because it's been rough. Like it's the sort of thing where you wouldn't notice it as much or it wouldn't be as much of a big deal if we had Shabbat healthy this whole time. But because you have to play Shabbat or sorry, you have to play Chikrin and Sanderson just constantly, just keep throwing them back out there. It's not going to improve in
Yeah.
this situation.
No. And if on the subject of being a little bit negative about certain players, Sanderson's probably had his like worst stretch of 5 games in his career
Yeah,
so far.
I think so.
Um, yeah, I don't know. He just doesn't look like himself right now. And I can't I feel so I wanted to write down who posted it. I can't remember who it was, but I saw on Twitter someone say that like Sanderson is like making plays that if it were Shabbat making the same mistakes, he'd be getting absolutely chewed out online.
Oh, definitely,
But
because Sanderson is the
because
golden boy right now.
exactly, yeah, exactly. So just I mean the whole team needs to be better, but um I don't know. Just everyone's having a cold stretch at I don't know, the worst. The Sens have
Yeah,
won 8 of their last 22 games. Like I don't know,
fuck me. When you
like
put
what are
it
we
like
supposed to
that,
do with that? Yeah.
jeez.
You start the season 3-1 and then oh
Hmm.
God.
I guess we can talk about Angus Crookshank a little bit, but we knew damn
Yeah.
well that he wasn't going to get more than like 5 minutes of ice time, and I'm going to check what it was right now. Let's see. Oh, actually, he got 10 minutes. I was surprised that it was that high because I felt like in the second period I only saw him like twice because there was a lot of
Yeah.
penalties. It was a lot of power play and penalty kill. I'm glad he got a call up though. I
It
thought he was
looked good.
okay, pretty good in limited minutes. I was kind of hoping like in the third period that DJ would just like shove him on Norris or Stutzla's wing, just try to get him a goal, in front of his
Yeah, give
family.
him like 7, 8 minutes in the third. Who cares? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
um, but yeah, no, I think he looks solid. And listen, when you're a struggling team and you can't get any depth scoring, you gotta throw McEwen and Kelly above Crookshank and Smeckle. You just
Yeah,
gotta.
goddamn. Funny thing, Kastelik and McEwen ended up with 3 minutes less than Crookshank, which shows you the caliber of players we've been playing in our bottom six. Is that Crookshank comes up and immediately gets more ice time than those guys get.
How,
So
how do you not with those two guys that have been called up? Granted, I mean, I don't know, did Smeckle even play a game in Belleville since
Yeah, I
being
don't
sent
know.
down and called back up. I have no idea. It was a quick like back and forth.
He was good
Um,
tonight too.
yeah, how do you not just immediately put Greg between those two?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how is that
It's
not
the
just
obvious
like a
move.
no-brainer
Yeah.
third line? I don't
Especially
get it.
because Kelly, Castellic, McEwen is your obvious, like, bang and crash fourth line. It sucks, don't get me wrong, but those are the three players that you put
Yeah,
together. You don't really need them on the third line. So at least put the guys who have a little bit of offensive talent together, right?
yeah, yeah, those bottom, yeah, Kelly, Castlick, and McEwen, they're all fast and they hit and they do nothing else. Just put them together, put them
Mm-hmm.
on the ice for 25 seconds, and then put someone else on. Like
Yeah.
it shouldn't be that difficult. I don't get. Did you see I can't remember if it was a Sens account that posted it, but like in practice, it was just footage of McEwen scoring like a lacrosse goal.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
and it just reminded me like, holy shit, if you're in the NHL, you're unbelievable at hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You wouldn't
but
tell from watching games
no,
that's
no,
the case.
just yeah, like anyone who makes the NHL is unbelievably talented, but in the context of like a full NHL lineup, the top end guys are so beyond talented. I think on if nothing else, it just like reaffirms like, oh, okay, so like the good ones are like good.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, no, McEwen should be on the fourth line, and it's
McEwen should be
absolutely
scratched,
insane
to be
that
honest,
well,
but
yeah, in a
injuries.
per yeah, I know you're
Injuries, yeah.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. In a perfect world, McEwen is in Belleville. Honestly, um, 3-year contract. Yeah.
Do you wanna
Um,
do you wanna throw it to the chat? We got a few comments
please.
that we can look it
Yes,
over. Um,
absolutely.
our the fan base's Angus Crookshank #1 fan, Louis in the chat. He did say that Schmeckel, Greg, and Crookshank was the third line from the second period on. So they did end up making that change.
Okay,
To be
awesome.
honest, I didn't even really notice because I was just kind of scrolling Twitter on my phone for the whole third period. Is like I didn't miss much, but that's good at least. That needs to be the line heading into the next game.
Why did they even try anything else in the first period?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see. Van Michael says, I can't believe there's a better chance of the Habs making the playoffs this season than the Sens. Who would have thought that before the season started? Man, I saw a Habs fan on Twitter straight up saying, what the hell are the Sens doing keeping these coaches? And just saying, like, the Sens roster is too talented to be this bad. Even our rival fans are like, not even other than Detroit, because we know how that is. Our rival fans are just like, wow, you shouldn't even be this bad. Instead of just like totally dunking on us, it's like other people can see it too. Like it's not just us, eh?
Yeah. I don't remember what game it was, but there's that really often quoted DJ Smith quote from the season where he says this isn't rock bottom.
Oh
Um,
yeah, it is now.
Rock bottom is when Habs fans feel bad for you.
Yeah.
That's rock bottom.
Oh god.
Uh, and I don't know. I as I've gotten older, I struggle with dunking on like a fan base as a whole because as I've gotten older, I've realized that there are a lot of great like just specifically in the Sens conversation, the Sens fandom conversation with biggest rivalries. There's a lot of great Leafs fans, there's a lot of great Habs fans, and there's a lot of shitty Sens fans. So it's just one of
Mm-hmm.
those things where I love dunking on specific people. I will never get tired of getting into it with our very own at SCPN, Justin Fisher on Twitter. That's always a fun back and forth for, getting into it with a Leafs fan. But like I kind of I was just joking that it was like rock bottom when Habs fans feel bad for you, but at the same time, like I kind of appreciate the fact that like there are some, you know, mature enough fan bases in like rival teams that are just like fuck, I can't imagine how rough that is, like
Mm-hmm. Man,
Um,
the part that sucks for me is we don't even have any ammo to chirp back at anyone at this point.
there's nothing.
There's nothing.
There's
That's the point where it's rock bottom is when we don't even have anything uh ahead of the other teams to chirp them with. Nothing.
no, we as a fan base had a shit ton of games in hand that we were leaning on heavily. That is disappearing. So
Yep.
now we can't even say, the Sens have 8 games in hand or and only back by 4 points of this team. That's like it's gone. It's completely gone.
Mm-hmm. David in the chat said, "Hello, darkness, my old friend." Makes me think of "Sound of Silence," Simon and Garfunkel song. A decade of darkness for these Sens, maybe as long as the last Oilers such decade was. That was
Mm,
100% the reference, and also a little bit of a Arrested Development Gob Bluth in there too. Um, but yeah, the decade we're man, because we're not going to be in the playoffs this year, right? And then potentially playoffs in 2025 maybe. That's damn near 10 years. That's like 8 years at that point. um I like my dad is an Edmonton fan, so I saw how bad it was for that whole decade before they got McDavid, and I'm like, oh god, we're just that now. We
uh,
have the good young players and the team still sucks. So
I'm not even convinced about 2025.
exactly,
So
exactly, in a tough division. So
yeah, I think Buffalo might be a better comparison than Edmonton.
yeah,
Um,
makes sense.
because Buffalo hasn't made the playoffs since what 2010, 2011, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
Um,
2011.
and it's not looking any more likely this season as well. So I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
Sabres another in a similar boat to the Sens where this was supposed to be the year.
Yeah, we're right there with them
And
now.
it just isn't. Um, yeah, they're 7 points up on Ottawa with 6 games more played. So, um, God,
Man, before you even mentioned Buffalo, Arham in the chat said, "Where do we go from here? Don't have a star prospect coming, and we have the core. We are the Buffalo Sabres," is what they said. So both of you on the same page. And the thing is,
yeah,
when he mentions don't have a star prospect coming, it makes me think, well, at least Buffalo has had high picks recently. Like they had Zach Benson playing. He's had some nice plays as a rookie, and they had Matthew Savoie from a couple drafts ago who's a
yeah,
good young forward coming up too. So I mean, compare their prospect pool to ours right now. Like we literally have fucking nothing coming up. So even Buffalo's situation, at least they still have some of those like young high picks who aren't on the team yet. All of our young high picks are on the team, or we traded away all our first round picks or had them removed from the league.
yeah.
So you could argue
The
that it's worse for us than it is for Buffalo. Just gonna put
yeah,
that out there.
yeah. Cupboards are empty. Um, no first round pick the last 2 years. The previous first round pick has been missing since the summer. No one knows what the hell's going on with Tyler Boucher.
Oh God,
Um,
I swear he's been kidnapped. He doesn't exist anymore.
it's
The
so
mob got
weird.
to
It's
him.
so weird. Like there's nothing,
How
no
has
injury
not
information.
a single media member like asked the Belleville coaching staff? Like what the fuck? So
And then
stupid.
so there's nothing as far as like yeah, there's nobody that the Sens fans are able to look at like we're gonna put all of our hope into Tyler Clevin. Like I think Tyler Clevin's gonna be an everyday NHL defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
He's not moving the needle, you know? Like God, like
Crookshank
and then
might
like
be
you
our
said,
top prospect.
Crookshank or
Could be him or Clevin.
like a Stapchuk is
Yeah,
gonna be decent,
maybe.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and then even then, at some point, one of the next 3 first round picks isn't gonna happen.
It's gonna have to be the furthest one in 3 years. We're sure as shit not giving up a first this year, and probably not next year either. Because next year, like you were saying earlier, not even a guarantee of playoffs. So
I'm
hopefully in 3 years, you can give up a first round pick that's in the playoff range. But who knows at this
yeah,
point?
this is full cope mode. This is full on cope mode
Mm-hmm.
where I'm really, really hoping for an outcome similar to when the New Jersey Devils were fined a first round pick when Kovalchuk retired and then just signed in the KHL. And then they're like, seriously? And the league was like, ah, fuck, maybe you're right. Never mind. So fingers crossed that like the punishment is pulled back a bit, but I
Yeah,
don't think it's too likely. The league loves Vegas too much for that to happen.
I agree. If the league lowered the the punishment at all, then Vegas would just complain again, and they always get their way. So.
Yeah, I preface it with whatever. You're Sens fans and the team sucks. You are very, very good at chirping. Great job, Vegas fans. So anything I have to say means nothing because my favorite team sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And this is over the top. I don't give a fuck.
Oh no.
The team is up 6-2, and there's a ref you suck chant.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Was that a blatant trip that Brady Kachuk? Yes, yes, yes. But how? But like what a perfect way to like encapsulate the vibe of that team and fan base that like you're up 6-2, killing a team when they're already down, and you go, wait, what? No, you missed a thing for us. Look, you missed it. You win the cup, and you go, this team upset us with this trade. Um,
Mm-hmm. Entitled attitude.
it's the most entitled fucking team, not just team, but like it feels like, and like, am I jealous of the fan base? Yes. 100% I'm jealous of the fan base. They don't know what it's like to cheer for a shitty hockey team. They missed the playoffs once and
Mm-hmm.
barely.
And then they got Eichel.
And
Actually, they
then
already had Eichel, and then couldn't get in. So, but it was all like looking up from there because you got Eichel, so you're gonna be good next year, and then they win the cup.
it's just like a, yeah, just a painful level of entitlement from that entire, I don't want to paint with broad strokes, from a lot of that fan base and
Mm-hmm.
absolutely the management team.
Yeah. Um. Another chat comment. Arham was saying, "Can't wait for the team to go 9-1 in February to ruin their draft position." Um.
Try March. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
and the way that I want to frame this question is, do you still want a coaching change, or do we just sit with DJ and get a top 5 pick at this point? Because honestly, we've waited too long. We've waited long enough. At this point, I don't care whether or not DJ coaches the rest of the season, because if he stays behind the bench, then we're in the draft lottery, and that's fine by me, to be honest, because we're not making the playoffs. Even if we do switch the coach at this point and go on an insane run, the odds would still be very stacked against us.
okay. My opinion changes to keep DJ in the new year. Um, I'll be like, I'm all in still on getting rid of him and bringing in a new coaching staff in the next 2 weeks. The season's still lost, but like I'm not in full tank mode yet. Come January, fuck it. Let's get that top 5 pick.
You
Let's
know,
let's
actually, a decent point that I failed to consider is that if they keep DJ and then they go on the classic late season run to get close to like 500 or whatever, then you don't want management to be like, oh, well, look, they turned it around and the players still love DJ and then keep him for the next year. So, you know what? Let me change my answer to
That's a good
get him out of
point.
here as soon as possible, just so that we don't have a repeat of last year where they make our record look respectable by the end of the year and then we keep him, you know?
It's a really good point.
Because with how reluctant they've been to fire him already, if the team like does pretty well and gets to like ninth in the East or 10th or something and gets kind of close, then they're going to be like, well, the players love DJ and oh shucks, we were close after the bad start. So just forget that the bad start even happened and just keep him.
Those first 65 games were fucking awful. But how good did DJ look when the Sens won 7 of their last 15? Maybe
Yeah.
we hold like come like there's, oh my God. Uh
Especially
I don't
because
know.
I feel like what always happens with the Sens is we suck ass at the beginning of the season, and then teams start to underestimate us, right? So we get some surprising wins against teams later in the year, and it evens out a little bit, even though our record is still poor usually.
Yeah.
So it's possible. So I'm gonna change my answer from how I originally started this conversation, as I think, because I'm pretty sure the Sens are gonna be 0-5 on the road trip at this point.
Oh
That's
yeah.
rock bottom at that point, and you cannot keep the coaching staff at that point, in my opinion.
No.
Only way they should realistically stay on is if they win the next two, and even then, nah.
Yeah, like I just if this season goes full tank, I just don't want a repeat of 2011 where, bless his soul, no one in Ottawa has a bad thing to say about Craig Anderson other than being responsible for the Sens moving from the second overall pick to the sixth in 2011.
Yeah,
Because dude went on a friggin' tear when Colorado traded him. Um, but
I don't think you'll have to worry
whatever.
about that with our goalies, to be fair.
No, no, that's fair as
So,
well. That's
and hey,
that's fair.
the sixth overall pick ended up being pretty good, didn't it? We,
Yeah, the
although we
Sens
all know how
got
that turned out.
the Sens got well, if we go down the trade tree, the Sens got
Who's left? JBD?
the
He was
Sens
one of the
ended up
draft
with
picks,
JBD, Cam Talbot,
but he's
uh
gone, so that's nothing.
yeah, so that's nothing.
Is there anything
Uh
left?
what
Because
was
what
the
was Broussard
third
traded for?
there's a third
Gustafson,
round
he
pick because
gone.
the Sens flipped Ian Cole
Yeah.
in that Broussard trade because it was Broussard to because for people who are like confused because we just jumped like 7 steps, it was Zibanejad who then was flipped to the Rangers with the second round pick, I believe, for
Yep.
Broussard.
Mm-hmm.
Then Broussard was flipped to the Penguins for a first, which was no, actually no, that was Lassie Thompson, I think. That first was Thompson,
No, he was from the
maybe.
Duchesne deal.
Oh no, that's right. That
Duchesne
was
to Columbus.
2019. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So yeah, JBD, and it was Philip Gustafson. So Cam Talbot gone. Um, Ian Cole flipped for a third to Columbus, but I don't remember what that third round pick ended
Whatever
up
the third
being.
round pick ended up being, maybe that's someone who's still in the organization, but who
Let's find
knows?
out right now. Let's take a
Yeah,
look.
going for it.
Ian Cole was traded.
I,
Uh
I have
oh,
to
he was
say,
traded
by
for
the way,
Nick Mutry, whoever that
oh,
is.
who the fuck is that?
Anyway, the third round pick was then traded because that third round pick was Alex Laferriere, which was
Well,
traded to
he's playing for the
LA.
Kings. He's on their team. He's
Oh, that pick was then in the Cody Ceci Nikita Zaitsev trade with Toronto.
sick. Another banger trade from
That's
Pierre
just
Dorion.
it's just gone. It's
Yep.
just gone.
I have to say as
Wow.
well, I made the thumbnail for today as Branstrom and Stone, just to be a little bit foolish and like
Yeah, yeah.
instigating. And we've gone like almost 40 minutes now and haven't even had to talk about the Branstrom for Stone deal, which
I'm over
do
it.
yeah, you're
Like
over it. Not mad about it
what
because
like what are we gonna say?
I kind of still am. There's not much to say about it anymore, but I'm kind of still mad.
I'm not even mad about the trade anymore. I'm just mad that like I'll forgive I'll forgive Pierre for a lot of bad decisions because we need to remember his hands were tied a lot of the time. Whenever it came to actual real money and paying players, his hands were tied because of Melnick. What I will not forgive him for is trading who was supposed to be, and I think without a doubt, the next captain of the Sens,
Hmm.
and then just having the fucking balls to say, "This is my proudest day as general manager."
I think that's a worse quote than "We're a team" in hindsight. That's his
Oh,
worst quote.
it's nothing comes close in my opinion. Nothing
Yeah,
comes even close. Um, like Eric Brandstrom was gonna be Eric Carlson. Like, come on,
we
dude.
all tried to convince ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Vegas owns the Sens on the ice. I think we've only beaten them once in our history. and they own us in trades too, and they own us in whining to the league to take away a draft pick. So that's I think that's the summary in conclusion. Vegas fucking owns our franchise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we did have a little bit of a extra segment planned for today with it was going to be all Sens puck doku, but I feel like we should save it because there's going to be many more horrendous games. So we've gone on long enough here today. I feel like so that could be something to look forward to in future episodes. I think
Sure. Yeah.
if
You
you're
can do
cool with
that.
that.
Yeah. Sure. Might as well
Mhm.
save it for when there's a game that like we're struggling after 15 minutes.
Exactly. I'll probably be scheduled to do a game on my own, and I'll text you like when we're down 4-1 in the second, and be like, "Hey, come on the show, so
Yeah.
we can do this." Um, yeah. One more thing that I want to, because I think this is kind of funny. Um, and this is a way off topic from anything we've been talking about, but
Okay.
I am not much of a betting person. However, this week when the Blues and Sens game was upcoming, I was like, what are the odds on this game? Because I know damn well that the Sens are not winning this game, but the Blues have a bad record, so I would bet that betting on them has decent odds. These are bets I've made on the Sens in the last 3 days. Betting on the Blues to win, easy money. Betting on the over in Ottawa versus Dallas, easy money. Betting on Vegas regulation win today, easy money. And then also a parlay of betting Vegas to win and over 5.5 goals. Just bet against the Sens, easy money. I think it is it's a good strategy, I have to say.
I have yet to make any sports bet in my life. But this season, the way things are going, it got you before it got me, but I've started thinking about it.
I feel like the Sens are predictable enough that I could get a couple of decent ones in there, and it was so like doing very small bets, just like $2 bets. Um, thanks to Steve and Adam for that strategy. The
Steve's $2 bets.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But so I've done a few bets on other teams that were more hit and miss, but 5 bets on the Sens in the last 3 games, or was it 4? Won all of them, obviously. Just easy money because this team sucks ass and they're very predictable. So I think that's pretty funny that none of those bets
No.
have missed yet. I'll
I
bet on
can I,
Arizona next game.
there you go. Yeah, perfect. And make sure to bet on Colorado too.
Oh yeah, that one, the Colorado game though. When we get to that, it's gonna be like impossible to make money off of betting on the Avs on that game because like the Sens will just continue to go even further in the toilet in the standings, and then you're not gonna. Soon enough, our record will be terrible that all the odds will never be in our favor.
I've something in the chat here to bring down the mood even more.
Oh
Um,
God.
one thing we forgot about that Brassard trade
Mm-hmm.
is that first round pick was traded in a move down. That was the Keandre Miller. Yeah,
That's
Keandre
right.
Miller
I
pick.
remember 2018 draft day. I remember watching that. I remember where I was at the time, and I remember seeing Keandre Miller still on the board, and we were coming up to pick. I didn't even know that much about him, but I was like, we need a defenseman. He looks cool. He looks awesome. We fucking trade down. They take Keandre Miller at our pick. We take JBD, and of course I convinced myself to like JBD, and I still like him, but goddamn, could have been better. Could have been Keandre.
I yeah. Well, I think I saw. Oh, you know what? I shouldn't even try and reference this because I don't remember the stat. It was something like the Sens had X number of picks in the first 2 rounds from 2016 through 19.
Yeah.
And like it's different now because JBD's called up. But at the time, before this season started, I think it was that Brady Tkachuk was the only player on the team who was drafted in the first 2 rounds between 16 and 19.
I am gonna look at this real quick.
I don't
2016
remember
to
what
19. Yeah, because so did you say first 2 rounds?
yeah.
Yeah, so 2016, Logan Brown and Jonathan Dahlin. Enough said,
Yeah,
right?
and if I remember correctly, I mean, like the number was big. There was a lot of them.
Yeah.
Maybe
Shane
in the first
Bowers
3 rounds. I
and
don't remember.
Formenton in 2017. At least one of those was a good pick, but obviously for off-ice reasons, he's gone, so you can't even count him.
Yeah.
Uh, 2018, then Brady and Bernard Docker finally making it this year, but the fact that it took him that long is not the best. And then Johnny Tachonic in the second round that year as well. Nowhere to be seen.
Is
And
he in Newfoundland
2019,
now? Is he playing
Lassie
for the
Thompson.
Growlers?
Oh, let's see.
He
Yeah,
was at
you're
one
right.
point. Okay.
You are correct.
Leafs organization because of course.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah, and then 2019 is Thompson. You got Pinto, so at least he will eventually be back on the roster. And Sogard, who will probably be on the roster very soon too, because it's not exactly like Anton Forsberg is earning another contract.
Um, on the subject of goaltending, real quick.
Yeah.
Uh, when it looked like uh Logan Thompson was hurt, and we all thought, "Oh, here comes the e-bug."
Yeah.
Uh, I was fully prepared for the Sens to have their David Ayres moment because the Sens were not gonna score 4 goals on an e-bug to tie it up, let alone even get 4 shots on
Mm-hmm.
the guy. Like
I was kind
at
of
no
hoping for
point,
it.
yeah.
Just to
Like
see
if
the
the Sens
e-bug,
lose
it
to,
would have been fun.
it would have been fun. I was concerned because in my fantasy league with a buy-in, with a
Ooh,
$150 buy-in where
high
I am the
stakes.
defending champion, I have the Vegas tandem, and I
Mm.
was thrilled to finally have Aiden Hill back for 3 shots.
Didn't last very long.
Um,
What's with the
yeah.
Sens injuring goalies lately without even
Oh my
touching them?
God.
Wall,
Yeah.
Ottinger, Hill, and also Thompson because he wouldn't have stayed in that game. I don't think if they had another option other than the e-bug. Very weird.
Yeah. It's so weird. And it's not like I don't think you can, and you can't point at like a style of play that's causing it. It wasn't contact with the goalie for any of them.
That's what's
Uh
so strange.
yeah, like
Totally fluke.
for Joseph Wool was just like it looked like he made I don't know if we got any new info on that injury on like what it was, but it looked like it could be like a hip or like a knee thing because he just had a weird stretch when he took it was like a shot at a weird angle, so he like unexpected shot, so he like had to stretch in a weird way. Ottinger, he just I think the puck got caught under his skate, so it like kind of pulled his leg to the side. Um, yeah, and I don't know. The Hill one is weird though. I don't know if anything. I don't know what injured him or if it just like something came up because like on that Norris goal, he
He
didn't
didn't
even
even
move.
try to make the save. He knew he was injured and he was like, fuck, I have to get out of the net as soon as possible. So we were
Yeah,
lucky to even have scored on that play just because of an
yeah.
injury. That's another
That
sad thing
wouldn't have
about
been a
this
goal.
game.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
wouldn't have been a goal.
he would have saved it
If
if he
anyone
wasn't
healthy
hurt.
was in net. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he just looked like he looked like he was like in net in like the 50s. He just did like just
Mm-hmm.
standing up straight,
The
wide open
shooter
5
tutor.
hole. Yeah, it's weird.
So even one of
This
our goals
team.
today, pure luck. We have nothing to hang our hats on here. You know, I didn't even see our last goal of the game by Brady because I had fully walked away from the TV by that point. I'm gonna watch the replay real quick here because I have to know. I have to be educated on what
It
happened.
was a nice play. I will give them that. It was a nice play.
Oh yeah, Norris
Um,
pinches up. Yeah, that was a very nice play. You could tell Vegas had stopped trying though.
oh yeah, they're like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They were ready for the showers, like
Definitely.
whatever.
Oh, what a what a game. Oh man, we didn't even mention special teams. Like we finally scored two power
No,
play goals and then it's ruined because of the shorthanded goal. Like so still fuck the power play even when they get two power play goals it still sucks.
yeah, like the Sens go 2 for 2 on the power play after going 0 for their last 12,
At least 12.
and then just completely ruin all of it.
I don't think after
Um,
those two goals, I don't think they got another decent scoring chance on the rest of the power plays.
yeah, and the
Like not at
PK
all.
even the PK was only 3 for 5.
Yeesh. We are on pace to have like the worst penalty kill in franchise history, or like second worst or something. Someone pointed that out to me in chat a few games ago, and it hasn't gotten better since then. I'm pretty sure it's gotten worse. That alone is already like fireable offense, regardless of our record.
God, that's horrifying.
Yeah. How can you have a worse penalty kill than the 1992, 93, 94, 95 Senators? How? The seasons where they were winning like 8 games in the whole year, and your penalty kill is just as bad, if not worse.
To
Pathetic.
have a worse PK than like like you said, teams that were that awful in the dead puck era,
Yeah.
like I don't know.
How do you even like? How do you even analyze this team at this point? Just, I'm glad that we are doing this game together so we can just bounce off each other. Otherwise, it's like, fuck.
I couldn't handle another uh game over episode like I had with the Panthers at 5-0,
Yeah.
170-ish penalty minute game.
I'm glad that I at least have the Jacob Chikrin returning to Arizona storyline for the next game
Oh, there you go.
because that's all that we're gonna have to talk about because the Sens are gonna lay another stinker. Um, Hopefully they don't get embarrassed too bad in Chikrin's return because he wanted out of there and the Coyotes are already a better team than us less than a year later.
This yeah, it's the okay. Let me rephrase from what I said earlier. I said rock bottom is Habs fans feeling sorry for you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see where you're
Rock
going.
bottom is Arizona Coyotes fans going, look how bad that franchise is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was seeing at least one Coyotes fan on Twitter just straight up like chirping the Sens, and it's like, if you let the Coyotes have chirping ammo against you, you're fucked.
That's going to be rock bottom. We are is
We
that
are next to rock
what
bottom.
day is that game? Wednesday?
Tuesday, I think.
Tuesday. Okay. That makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Let me double check. Yeah, Tuesday. Okay. So we are 2 days away from actual rock bottom.
You know the SpongeBob episode where he gets off at the wrong bus stop and he ends up at rock bottom? We're on the
Yeah.
bus. We're on the
We're
bus right now.
on the bus.
And then when we lose that game to the Coyotes, that's where we get off at rock bottom.
Is that where everyone talks like a fart noise?
I don't remember.
I don't
I don't
remember.
remember it in that much detail.
If
It
there's
could
if
be.
there's that if there was that detail, then there's like fart noise jokes to be made about the Sens, but I'll leave it just in case I'm mixing up the SpongeBob references.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, I'm gonna have lots of fun covering that game on Tuesday. Hopefully, it's at least close and not a blowout, so I can try to pull some positives out of it. But if we don't win, that's gonna be very hard. I'll put it that way.
I'm at the point now where the Sens when I go, okay, well they're gonna hurt me in a few days, so like who cares? Like it's just
Yeah,
I can't even enjoy like I don't even think I'm gonna be able to fully enjoy any wins.
exactly. It's we're so far below 500 at this point that it's like, oh yay, we win a couple. We're still down by 3. In terms of our record, still like 3 losses below. So
You know what's gonna happen is whoever's in net, Forsberg or Korpisalo is gonna have like one of their best games of the season, and the Sens are gonna get fucking goalied by Connor Ingram.
oh yeah,
Because
he's a
dude
beast
is
this
on a
year.
tear. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God. So the Sens are going to get shut out. It's going to be a 1-0 win for Arizona. Sens are going to be the Sens are going to have like Sens are going to have like 40 shots. It's going to be a shutout. Uh Korpisalo or Forsberg's going to allow like one goal on 27, 28 shots. And we're going to have to try and pull out any like it's going to be more of the same. Well, they played really well. Well, they're not winning. Like,
Mm-hmm.
who cares? And then And then after they play really well and get goalied, they're going to lose 6-0 to Colorado. I can see it. I can see this week. Um, by the way,
Last year's game in Colorado was 7-0 for the Avs. Might be worse this year, to be honest. But go ahead, what were you gonna say?
yeah. Louis, who is in the chat, Louis of Zubcast fame, is going to be on Game Over on Thursday night after that Colorado. And you know what's worse is because it's in Colorado. Oh, I guess same thing with the Coyotes game. We're both staying up late. These are
I got
both
a
going to be 9
9
p.m.
p.m.
Eastern.
Yeah, is yours 9 p.m. as
9
well?
9 p.m. So
Damn.
Louis,
You'll have
hope
someone
you're
to
ready to
supper with
stay up
you,
until
at least.
fucking early in the morning for this stupid show, buddy. And I don't say stupid show because this show is stupid. I say this stupid show because of what we have to talk about.
Because we're covering a
This
stupid team.
this stupid team. This
Mm-hmm.
stupid team that hurts me every time I watch them.
Yep.
Um, you're doing Coyote solo, eh?
Yeah, just saying fuck it. Doing it solo. I'll
I'm
I'll
finding
try
it
to
so much more
analyze
difficult
Jacob
to.
Chikrin, you know?
Okay, that's good because I'm finding it so much more difficult to try and get guests. Like I feel guilty. Like, hey, can you dedicate a night of your life to being on this show with me and watching this dog shit hockey?
Yeah, exactly.
It's tough. It's
I was
tough.
kind of like procrastinating on booking a bunch of guests early in the season, and now that I haven't, I'm like, I feel bad asking anyone to come on with me because who the hell even wants to watch the games in the first place, much less spend even more time to talk about it?
Yeah, I've got some guests booked that I'm genuinely very excited
Yeah,
for.
there's still gonna be good stuff coming up.
Oh yeah, like we've got there's a show that we're both on with a guest that I'm really looking forward to
Mm-hmm.
later on. But like, just as far as like just in general, yeah, having a tough time uh feeling like I want to convince people to watch this team.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It just extends to the general lack of enthusiasm in the fan base at this point. A lot of people are just already not even watching.
yeah. Yeah, like you said at the top of the show, I'm with you. If it weren't for Game Over, I just like I've already skipped like I probably shouldn't like admit this, but I've already skipped a handful of games that you did.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
like I try to tune in as much as I can just because I do want to stay up on everything. But there's been a few nights where I'm like I can't like if you're doing Game Over on like a Saturday night, I'm like I would much rather just hang out with some friends instead.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, even if I don't have that excuse, I'm like it's Tuesday night. I just want to watch a movie and not think about the hockey at all.
Exactly.
So there are a
Totally
handful
get
and
it.
unfortunately one of those games I skipped was Seattle, which would have been a good one to watch, but
Mm-hmm.
um
Man,
can't handle it.
worst part is through this whole rebuild, unless I was busy, I was watching when we were so totally dog shit. I was
Oh
still
yeah.
watching because you don't
Yeah.
expect the team to win, but then if they do, or at least make it close, it's funny, right? Like, we'll score some goals against the Leafs and it'll be funny. Now it's
Yeah.
just when you have expectations and they're ruined this quickly, it's like, how do you stay invested? Like, at least previously, it's like, okay, we have these young rookies coming up. Like, we were horrible in the Canadian division season, but at least we had Stutzla as a rookie who was entertaining to watch. And Norris was also, that was his rookie season, I believe. So, a few guys, it was fun to watch. Now we just have these guys, same guys who've been here for a few years now, and it's not getting better. We're just as bad on the ice somehow. So,
Yeah, and another thing with
nothing to look
watching a
forward
team in
to.
a rebuild, you can watch for like a couple of players, right? Like
Yeah,
what I
exactly.
loved during a rebuild was like, oh, this player who I didn't expect that much out of had a really good couple of games, and
Mm-hmm.
it kind of gives you hope. Like not in like a standings, like standings are going to look good kind of way, but just like in a like you can. It's so much easier to be invested in specific players watching a rebuild when the team's play doesn't really matter. Um, like I would just watch specifically to be like surprised by a player here or there. Like,
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
oh
That's what I
wow,
was
Zach
getting at.
Sanford had a good game. That was interesting. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but no, it's just watching a team with expectations is brutal. It's absolutely brutal. And like looking at this team on paper, it feels like it should be so much better than maybe any of the teams that made the playoffs in the 2010s.
Potentially. The only main difference for me would be Carlson being better than everyone on this roster. Um,
Sure. Yeah.
and maybe Spezza, but even one of the playoff years, Spezza was injured the whole year, and then he was gone by 2017. So you're
Yeah.
right. I think you're right.
Yeah, because
And
the,
maybe
the
other than
season that Spezza
goaltending,
was hurt, wasn't that the same year that Carlson missed basically all
yeah,
season?
they were both injured.
That
You're
was the
right.
season that they were just carried by Anderson. So
Mm-hmm.
like, but yeah, like honest, like for real though, like on paper, this team should be the best team they've had since like late 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And it has me wondering like because watching those teams, even the years that they made the playoffs, like it never felt because there were certain seasons where like by like this point in those seasons, we kind of were like, okay, so this team is good or this team stinks. And then for the rest of the season, like if the team looked decent, like say like the maybe not the 2015, that's I think it's the one exception is that 2015 Hamburger run. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're looking at the team in 2010, uh 12, 13, and 17, by mid-December, we were like, oh, so it's a good team this season. And then there
Yeah.
was like zero doubt that they would make the playoffs by the season's end with a roster that didn't most often didn't look great on paper. So like I'm just so confused by how those teams did well consistently, not consistently in like a season to season thing, but like consistently within that season. Like they never really looked horrible for like a stretch of 10 games or anything. And I'm just
So
so confused by how like those teams looked good.
my theory here
Okay.
is 2012, Paul McLean's first year as coach, and 2017, Guy Boucher's first year as coach. Get a new coach. That's it, right? Like it all comes back to that. Obviously, those coaches fell off after their 1 year wonder moments, but at least
Yeah.
they were able to have one
Fuck,
good year.
McLean won the Jack Adams.
Yeah,
Like
actually, McLean had two good years, at least in that, yeah, with the Jack Adams in the second year.
yeah.
Those were both the first season under a new coach. And here
Was
we
the
are with
Jack
the
Adams
same
year
coach
the
for 6 years.
lockout shortened season?
Yes, yes.
Craig Anderson should have won the Jack Adams. But
Yeah, the
um
Vezina.
no, like Craig Anderson won him the Jack Adams.
Oh,
Like
yes, yes.
yeah,
I see what you mean.
yeah. Even though he didn't play, I mean he would have won the Vezina if he hadn't like missed whatever it was, like 15 games
Hmm.
or something like that, because he was
Yeah.
injured for a bit there. Um, that was a weird, completely unrelated to anything. Wasn't that like 3 seasons in a row where the NHL record for save percentage was like broken? Because I think it went Tim Thomas, then the next year Craig Anderson broke it, and then the next year Brian Elliott broke it with the
Oh,
Blues.
Brian Elliott. Yeah.
That was a
Damn.
weird stretch. Also, underrated like struggling goalie for struggling goalie trade where they both completely turned it around for the next few years.
Hmm.
Crazy.
That
Um,
was like Dead Puck era 2.0 for a few years. Didn't last for
yeah,
too
it really
long.
was.
Just from like after Crosby and Ovechkin's first few years where his scoring was really high and they had kind of settled in. There was a dip there from like probably 2011 to like 2016 or so, and then you got Matthews and McDavid coming back in, and then scoring went right back up.
Yeah. And like I love a great goalie duel, but it's so much more fun when it's high scoring. So
Hmm.
I am loving as much as I hate watching the Sens, I am loving where the league is at in terms of just scoring, I guess. Like I love that like a decent goalie is a 905 instead of a decent goalie being like a 915 now.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
905 is like pretty good at this point. Like, uh,
yeah.
playing fantasy hockey, if my goalies scrape 900 save percentage, I'm like, yes, good job, guys.
Yeah.
Whereas the last couple years, it was like if you got 900, it was like, oh, that's kind of disappointing. If they got like a flat 900.
Yeah, in our game over league for this week, my goalies had a 905 and I'm thrilled. Um
Exactly.
Lauren had a 907. So,
In that league, I had a 867. this week.
Did you finally drop Vanacek?
Oh yeah, he's been gone for 2 weeks now.
Okay,
Got him
nice.
out.
Okay,
I had
good,
him on
good.
both teams, dropped him on both. So
Nice.
Shesterkin is just not doing much better, is the thing. Shesterkin, and then because Vanacek couldn't cut it as the second goalie, then I'm picking up random dudes off of waivers. I had Ivan Prosvetov for 2 games. He had one good game, and then he got torched by the Jets and totally undid all of that goodwill.
Jeez. Yeah, my goalies are I did not draft any of them. I have Varlamov, Ingram, and Luukkonen.
when
So
you don't have, when you're 2 months in and you don't have any of the goalies that you drafted at the start,
goalies
yikes.
are voodoo. Like
Yep.
awful. Um, but yeah. I'm not. Let's stop talking about goalies there because I don't want to. We'll save it
We
for
could
another
go on
episode at some
forever.
point.
Yeah.
But I don't want to start the whole like systems versus goalie debate because that's been hot on Twitter the last couple of
Yeah,
games.
we can save that for another episode because I'm sure
Yeah,
that debate is going to continue to rage on.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah, just before we go, I'll read one more chat comment. Newbie Sports saying, unrelated, but gotta get some positive vibes. This is a tough season to go through, but I do appreciate you both for hosting this little space to talk about all that's gone on. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in as much as you can. We really appreciate it. As long as there's still a few of you tuning in, we're gonna keep doing it. And it's despite the tough vibes for this team, it's still fun to come on here and talk about it, even when it's just ranting.
It really is great seeing like um a consistent like few like familiar names in the chat like every episode.
Mm-hmm.
Um so it's really nice to see this like little bit of a like a game over Ottawa community that SDPN has been able to build. Um, yeah, on that note, like this is a bad time to ask for this because like who the fuck wants to deal with this? But if you're enjoying the show, and you know Sens fans who are looking for a place to talk about things because like the beauty of having a live show is a lot of interaction with the chat and we get to all talk about this kind of stuff. If you got any Sens fans friends who are looking for something to do after games, shoot a link over to them, you know, like let them know that there's a place that you can come for, we'll call it group therapy following
Yeah,
Sens games.
it's turning into therapy sessions for
It's
sure.
it really is. And you know what, I've been complaining a lot about these shows after games, but like you're the whole therapy aspect of it is kind of nice to be able to like actually blow off steam
Mm-hmm.
and rant about this um to an actual audience. So, you know, my girlfriend doesn't have to be the one to listen to it every time.
Yeah.
So it's a nice break for her anyway.
Mm-hmm. Like I said this earlier, but like I said, kind of glad I'm not going to the game against Pittsburgh anymore. And at least instead of just having the long exit from the parking lot and drive home and then just coming home and being pissed off, at least I can just come on here as soon as the final buzzer ends and scream and rage for 30 minutes and then crack open a nice cold beer after that and then chill out.
Yeah. And at the very least, when that's over, the next day is Christmas Eve. We're just chilling.
Yeah,
Um,
this team sure needs a break. The fans need a break. We could Christmas break. Everyone is like looking forward to it at this point because it's like, oh, we're playing more frequently now. Oh, we were tired of all the breaks between games. Now it's like, you want this every night? You get this every second night? Just no thanks.
awful. That's the worst thing too, is that it's Christmas season. It's genuine. It's my favorite time of year. I
Yeah,
am a Christmas geek. I mean, look at my. I mean, I got my. Hold on, let me move my mic up for people watching. I got my Snoopy. Oh no, people can't see it on the stream, but I have a pillow with Snoopy in the
I can move you over a
from
little bit. We can see
and
Snoopy on the table. There's
oh
the
yeah, I got
pillow.
I got I got Snoopy here, but the pillow, the
I got
Christmas.
the
I got a
pillow on the
Snoopy.
screen. Yeah, I
There
got
you
you.
go.
I
Yeah. I got
love it.
it's the double the peanuts whatever because this is Snoopy dressed up as the World War One flying ace
The Red
from
Baron,
the
right?
Great Pumpkin. But
Yeah.
no, I'm a Christmas nut. It's my favorite time of year. Absolutely love Christmas. This team is ruining my Christmas spirit.
Team's
They got me like
ruining Christmas. The
upset.
the Sens
Yeah.
stole Christmas this year.
Sens are basically the Grinch, and I'm
Literally.
tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sens fans getting lumps of coal in their stockings this season.
I hope the players do too.
Yep.
Um, oh, you know
Well,
what's gonna be even like I okay, before we go, this
yeah,
is a terrible thought because this is what angry sports fans do, and it drives me nuts every time. Like, listen, these guys, the guys on your favorite hockey team are like they're human beings
right.
and whatever. But like I can already tell we've been criticizing the effort level of this team for a while. Twitter is going to be a shit show when the Sens lose. Okay, how many games are there before?
For
Let
Christmas?
me see here. There's Christmas and then, but no, it's the All-Star break at the beginning of February. So
Oh
there's what
God.
one, two, three, four. No, I count tonight. 3, 4, 5, 6, and then there's 15 games, and so 21 games between now and the All-Star break. So when the Sens go on to win, we'll be optimistic and say 9 of their next 21 games, and the team continues to play like shit. When all the players are posting photos on Instagram of their vacation
Oh
and
no.
wherever, can you imagine the comments? People are going to be like, "Why aren't you skating? Why aren't you practicing?"
Yeah.
It's going to be a whole new level. I am and I know, I'm sorry. I'm looking like 6 weeks in advance at like a period that's going to be awful, but I'm already dreading the like online because like if people are this mad right now,
It's
they're going
it's
to find
most likely
anything to
gonna get
complain about.
worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instagram is a cesspool though. I don't if I was an athlete, I wouldn't allow public comments on anything. Just people can fuck off and
I would have
wouldn't
nothing
have
but
DMs
burners.
open.
I'll be honestly.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle it. People are gross. Like
Oh yeah.
the comments on yeah,
A
it's
lot of gross
crazy.
things
And
on hockey Twitter in the last couple of weeks. I'll put it
oh
that
yeah,
way.
that's for sure.
Well,
Anyway,
that's probably where we'll leave it, eh?
I'm surprised we got this much out of this episode. I'll be honest. I thought this one was going to be a struggle.
Yeah. Uh Therapeutic, I think. Just
Yeah, I needed that.
yeah, just getting it all out there. Not even like because we didn't even talk about the game that much. It's more just like the overall situation surrounding the team, right?
Just everything. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just everything. And
It's
it's a shame
never.
that we had to use up one of our shows with the two of us
Yeah.
on this
Oh.
game.
Uh,
When's our next one? When's our
I
next
don't
one?
even know.
Let's
I don't even know when we have another one. Might be that one in January that you were talking about.
yeah, yeah, we do have one in January with the guest. We'll see if we end up doing another one before then, but
I feel like we might. The way things
we
are
might,
going.
but there's also a handful of like 4 games between now and then are Canadian teams, so
The
4 of
Canadian
them.
road trip. Yeah.
So we don't have as many like opportunities for it, but we'll see. We'll
Mm-hmm.
see.
It'd be fun to do some more crossover episodes. Although I'm just sad that I can't chirp at all anymore. Like.
Oh yeah, there's zero chirping to be had. The next one is I'm doing the next Leafs game, so that's gonna be
I
the
am
next Sens Leafs
dreading
game.
going on the streams with the Habs because we should be
Oh
better
yeah,
than them. Should be better than them and we're not, and we're just gonna get fucking roasted in the chat. Like Habs fans are ruthless, so
if I'm on a show with Mark, I'm just gonna shut them all up and have them roasting something else when I convince Mark to say openly how much more he likes Ottawa puts in than Montreal puts
yeah.
in, and then
Yeah,
the
get him
Habs
with
fans are gonna
that.
have something more important to be complaining about. So
Mm-hmm. You can
that's
throw
my
him off.
we'll see if we're on if we're on the show with Andrew, then we're completely different strategy. We'll have to figure out, but if Mark is on the show with either one of us, we at least have that avenue to get out of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, plenty more fun streams coming up, even if the games might not end up being so fun. They'll have to win sometimes. It's not gonna be totally like absent of wins, but I think for a while
Right.
it might be. I don't really think this team is going to win any of the next 3 games before the Christmas break. Not optimistic. I'm going to keep betting against them.
Yeah, no way they beat Carlson in the first two games against them, right? So
No.
they're not going to win against the Penguins again. So
Mm-hmm. And we suck at
Carlson's going to
home. We
score.
can't even win on
A hat
home
trick.
ice.
Carlson's going to score a hat trick
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
on the 23rd in Ottawa. Ugh. All right.
Yeah. Well,
Ugh.
everyone subscribe to STPN on YouTube if you have not already subscribed. You can also follow Game Over NHL on the Spotify or Apple Podcast feeds or wherever you get your podcasts. If you're on YouTube, leave a like if you enjoyed, and be sure to share this around. If, like Charlie said earlier, if you have any Sens fan friends looking for some therapy sessions after the horrendous games, because we will be here to provide many more of those.
Every single night.
Yep. Yeah, that'll do it. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for watching and listening.